Hey, before we dive into the story, smash that subscribe button right now. You're about to hear something that'll have you glued to your screen, and, trust me, you don't want to miss what happens next. Also, drop a comment and tell me where you're watching from. Now, let's get into it. She was drowning. Not in water. In bills. Vera Castellano stared at the eviction notice taped to her apartment door. Third one this month. Her hands shook as she peeled it off, crumpling it into her coat pocket with all the others. 29 years old, a 6-year-old son sleeping inside, and exactly $43 in her bank account. 3 jobs weren't enough. The diner shift from 5 a.m. to noon. Cleaning offices from 2 to 6 p.m. Bartending Thursday through Saturday nights until 3 a.m. Sleep was a luxury she couldn't afford. Food was whatever Milo didn't finish. Her shoes had holes she covered with duct tape. This wasn't the life she'd imagined. But life didn't care about imagination. She pushed open the door quietly. Milo was curled up on the couch, the TV playing some cartoon on mute because they'd canceled cable months ago and only got free channels now. He'd used his jacket as a blanket. Again. The heat had been shut off 2 days ago. Vera walked to the kitchen. Opened the fridge. Half a carton of milk. 3 eggs. Bread heels. She could make that work for breakfast. Dinner was another problem for another hour. Her phone buzzed. A text from her landlord. Final warning. Pay by Friday or you're out. Friday was tomorrow. She needed $1,800 by tomorrow. She had 43. The math didn't math. It never did. Vera grabbed her bag and checked on Milo one more time. His little face was peaceful in sleep. She'd do anything for that face. Anything. She kissed his forehead and headed out into the November cold. The walk to her cleaning job took 20 minutes. She couldn't afford the subway. Her breath came out in clouds. Chicago winters were brutal, and this one was just beginning. Her coat was thin. Goodwill, 2 years ago. The zipper was broken. She was so tired. So bone-deep exhausted that sometimes she forgot what energy felt like. But she kept walking. Because that's what mothers do. The office building loomed ahead. 40 stories of glass and steel where rich people made more money in a day than she'd see in a year. She went in through the service entrance, clocked in, grabbed her cart. Floor 38 tonight. Executive suites. She pushed the cart into the elevator and rode up in silence. The offices were empty this time of day. Just her and the hum of computers left on overnight. She started in the corner office. Some CEO's space with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. Leather furniture. A desk that probably cost more than her entire life. She dusted. Vacuumed. Emptied trash bins full of takeout containers that cost $30 each. Enough food thrown away to feed Milo for a week. Don't think about it. Just work. 2 hours later, she was done. Clocked out. Walked back into the cold. The bartending shift started at 9. She had 30 minutes to get across town. She started walking faster. That's when she heard it. The screech of tires. Shouting. A gunshot that cracked through the air like lightning. Vera froze. Every instinct screamed run. But then she saw him. A man stumbling out from between 2 buildings, clutching his side. Blood seeped between his fingers. Dark. Too much of it. He collapsed against a dumpster, his legs giving out. Their eyes met. He was maybe 35. Dark hair. Sharp features. Expensive suit torn and bloody. His eyes were gray like smoke, like steel. They were hard eyes. Cold eyes. But there was something else there too. Pain. Real pain. Help, he choked out. Just that one word. Vera's nursing student instincts kicked in. She'd had to drop out of school when she got pregnant, but she remembered the training. She rushed over, dropping to her knees beside him. Let me see. She pulled his hand away. The wound was bad. Gunshot through his left side, possibly through and through. He was losing blood fast. I need to stop the bleeding. She yanked off her coat, pressed it against the wound. He hissed in pain but didn't pull away. Who shot you? She asked. Doesn't matter. His voice was rough. Accented. Italian, maybe. We need to call an ambulance. No. His hand shot out, gripping her wrist. Strong grip. Too strong for someone losing this much blood. No hospitals. No police. Red flags everywhere. This man was trouble. Danger. Everything she should run from. But he was bleeding out in an alley, and she'd never been good at walking away from people who needed help. I have a friend, he managed. Mateo. Take my phone. Call Mateo. She found his phone in his jacket pocket. High-end. The kind that cost $1,000. It was unlocked. She found a contact labeled simply M. It rang once. A male voice answered. Boss? This isn't your boss, Vera said quickly. He's hurt. Gunshot wound. He needs help now. A pause. Then, where are you? She rattled off the cross streets. Hurry. He's losing a lot of blood. 3 minutes. Keep pressure on the wound. Don't let him pass out. The line went dead. Vera looked at the man. Your friend is coming. Stay with me. What's your name? His eyes were starting to glaze. Dante. I'm Vera. Dante, look at me. Keep your eyes open. Why are you helping me? He whispered. Because you're bleeding and I'm here. A ghost of a smile touched his lips. Stupid reason. Maybe. True to his word, 3 minutes later, a black SUV screeched to a stop at the alley entrance. 3 men jumped out. Big men. The kind who looked like they broke things professionally. The first one, presumably Mateo, took in the scene instantly. You kept him alive. Barely, Vera said. He needs a hospital. We have a doctor. Mateo gestured to the other men. They lifted Dante carefully, efficiently. Mateo turned back to Vera. You probably just saved his life. Is he going to be okay? Because of you, yes. Mateo studied her. He'll want to thank you properly. Where can we find you? Every instinct screamed to lie. To disappear. To never see these people again. But she'd just lost 30 minutes of her shift helping this man. She needed that money. I work at Rossi's bar on 5th Street. Thursday through Saturday nights. Mateo nodded. He'll find you. They loaded Dante into the SUV and were gone in seconds. Like they'd never been there. Except for Vera's coat, soaked in blood on the ground. Her only coat. She picked it up. Ruined. She threw it in the dumpster and walked the rest of the way to work in the freezing cold. The bar manager docked her pay for being late. $27.50 for 6 hours of work. She walked home at 3 a.m., shivering so hard her teeth chattered. Mrs. Chin from 4B was watching Milo. Vera paid her $15. Money she didn't have. She collapsed into bed next to Milo and cried silently into her pillow. Tomorrow was Friday. She still needed $1,800 by end of day. Sleep came hard and lasted 3 hours. The diner shift was hell. She dropped 2 plates. Forgot 3 orders. Her manager threatened to fire her. She apologized. Smiled. Kept moving. Tips were bad. $22. After her shift, she went to the bank. Asked about a loan. The woman behind the desk didn't even pull up her account before shaking her head. Your credit score makes you high risk. I'm sorry. Vera walked out and sat on a bench. Stared at nothing. She could call her mother. But Mom was barely making it herself in Florida. She couldn't ask. She could sell something. But she had nothing worth selling. She could. Vera Castellano? She looked up. A man in a perfect black suit stood in front of her. Not Mateo. Someone else. Older. Professional. Yes. My employer would like to speak with you. He gestured to a car parked at the curb. The same black SUV from last night. Her heart kicked. Is Dante okay? He's recovering. He'd like to thank you in person. She should say no. Should walk away. But something pulled her forward. Maybe it was curiosity. Maybe it was desperation. Maybe she just wanted to know he'd survived. She got in the car. They drove for 20 minutes, leaving the city, heading into an area she'd never been. Estate territory. Where Chicago's elite lived behind gates and walls. The SUV pulled through iron gates and up a long driveway. The house at the end wasn't a house. It was a mansion. Sprawling. White stone. More windows than she could count. Holy shit, she whispered. The driver smiled slightly. Mr. Morelli will see you inside. She followed him through marble halls. Actual marble. Artwork on the walls that looked museum quality. Chandeliers. A staircase that curved like something out of a movie. He led her to a study. Rich wood. Floor-to-ceiling bookshelves. A fireplace crackling with real fire. And Dante, sitting in a leather chair, his left side bandaged, but otherwise looking remarkably well for someone who'd been dying in an alley 12 hours ago. He stood when she entered. Moved a bit stiffly, but stood. Vera. His voice was stronger now. That accent more pronounced. Thank you for coming. She stood awkwardly in the doorway. I just wanted to make sure you were okay. Because of you, I am. He gestured to a chair. Please. Sit. She sat, perched on the edge, ready to bolt. He studied her with those gray eyes. They were different in the daylight. Still hard. But there was intelligence there. Calculation. And something that might have been curiosity. You saved my life, he said simply. You would have done the same. No, he said. Most people would have kept walking. Especially after I told you no police. No hospitals. You knew what that meant. She had. Trouble. Criminal trouble. But she'd helped anyway. I pay my debts, Dante continued. Tell me what you want. Money? A job? Name it. Pride made her want to say she didn't need anything. But pride was a luxury. And it was Friday. And she had $43. I need $1,800, she heard herself say. By tonight. Or my son and I are evicted. Something flickered across his face. You have a son. Milo. He's 6. Dante was quiet for a moment. Then he picked up his phone and made a call. Spoke in rapid Italian. Hung up. It's done. $1,800 will be in your landlord's account within the hour. Vera's throat closed. I can't just take. You saved my life. I'm paying rent. It's not even close to even. But, Vera. He leaned forward. Winced slightly. You helped me when you had every reason not to. When you were late for work. When you needed your coat in this weather. You helped me anyway. Let me help you. Tears burned her eyes. She blinked them back. Thank you. How much do you make? All 3 jobs combined. The questions startled her. Why do you want to know? Indulge me. She did the math in her head. Maybe 23,000 a year. Before taxes. His jaw tightened. And your rent. $1,200 a month. But the building is rent-controlled. It's actually one of the cheapest in the area. So half your income goes to rent. More than half, really. What are the other expenses? Give me a breakdown. This felt invasive. But he'd just saved her from homelessness, so she answered. Utilities, maybe $200 when they don't shut them off. Food, I try to keep it under $300, but it's hard. Milo's school supplies. His clothes, he's growing so fast. Medical stuff when we get sick. The CTA card for when I really can't walk. Laundromat. Phone bill because I need it for work. What about savings? Emergency fund. She laughed. Actually laughed. You're joking, right? His expression didn't change. Entertainment? Nights out. I haven't been out for fun in 6 years. Your son. Does he have toys? Books. Library books. And some toys from Goodwill. Dante stood. Walked to the window. Looked out over his massive property. When he spoke, his voice was quiet. My mother raised me and my 2 brothers alone. After my father died. She worked 3 jobs too. I remember being Milo's age and watching her fall asleep standing up. I remember eating every other day so my brothers could eat every day. I remember her crying when she thought we couldn't hear. He turned back to Vera. I remember what that poverty does. How it eats you alive. How it steals your hope. What happened? Vera asked softly. How did you end up here? A dark smile. I made choices. Some good. Some terrible. I climbed out of that hole by any means necessary. He walked back to his desk. Pulled out a checkbook. Actual paper check. You saved my life. I said I pay my debts. I meant it. He wrote something. Tore off the check. Held it out. Vera took it. Looked down. Her knees went weak. $50,000. I can't, this is. Tenfold, Dante said. You saved my life. That's worth more than money. But this is a start. Consider it a thank you. And an apology for how hard your life has been. She was shaking. This is too much. It's not enough. But it'll help. Pay off your debts. Get ahead of rent. Buy your son toys. Buy yourself a coat. A sob broke from her throat. She pressed her hand over her mouth, trying to hold it in. But it came anyway. 6 years of exhaustion and fear and desperation, all pouring out. Dante moved closer. Awkward, like he wasn't used to crying women. I didn't mean to upset you. I'm not upset. She wiped her eyes. Laughed through tears. I can't remember the last time someone was kind to me. Real kindness. Not pity. Just kindness. You were kind to me first. She looked at the check again. $50,000. It was more money than she'd ever seen. More than she'd make in 2 years. Why? She whispered. Why so much? Because I can. Because you need it. Because your kindness in that alley was worth more than any dollar amount. He paused. And because I'd like to see you again. If you're willing. Her head snapped up. What? Dinner. Tomorrow night. Let me take you somewhere nice. I don't understand. I'd like to get to know you better, Vera Castellano. The woman who saves bleeding strangers in alleys. You don't know anything about me. I know you're brave. Kind. Selfless. I know you work yourself to death for your son. I know you're stronger than most men I employ. That's enough to intrigue me. I have a kid. You mentioned. I work 3 jobs. Not anymore. Quit them. She blinked. What? Quit your jobs. All 3. You have enough now to take a breath. Figure out what you actually want to do. I wanted to be a nurse. But I had to drop out when. So go back. Finish your degree. I can't just. Why not? Because it wasn't that simple. Because life didn't work that way. Because. But he was looking at her like it was the most obvious thing in the world. Like of course she should chase her dreams. Like it was that easy. I need to think, she said. Think. Take your time. The money is yours regardless. He pulled a card from his desk. Heavy cardstock with just a name and phone number. When you're ready for dinner, call me. She took the card. Stood on shaky legs. Thank you. For everything. I don't know how to. You already did. In that alley. We're even now. But they both knew they weren't. The driver took her home. She walked into her apartment in a daze. Mrs. Chin was there with Milo, playing cards. Mama. Milo launched himself at her. She caught him, held him tight. Hey, baby. Mrs. Chin taught me go fish. That's great, buddy. She paid Mrs. Chin the usual 15. Then, on impulse, added another 35. For all the times I was short. Mrs. Chen's eyes widened. Vera, you don't have to. I want to. After Mrs. Chin left, Vera sat Milo down. How would you feel about getting your own room? A bigger apartment. His eyes went huge. Really? Really? And maybe some new toys. Would you like that? He screamed yes and tackled her in a hug, and Vera held her son and cried happy tears for the first time in 6 years. That night, after Milo was asleep, she looked at Dante's card. Turned it over in her fingers. A dangerous man. A criminal. Someone involved in things she didn't want to know about. But he'd shown her more kindness in one afternoon than she'd received in years. She put the card in her wallet. She'd think about it. Maybe. The next week blurred past. She deposited the check, waiting for it to bounce. It didn't. The money appeared in her account like magic. More zeros than she'd ever seen. She paid her landlord. 3 months up front. The woman literally gasped. She paid her utilities. All of them. 6 months advance. She bought groceries. Real groceries. Fresh fruit. Meat. Vegetables. Things that weren't on sale or expired. Milo cried when he saw all the food. She bought him new clothes. Shoes without holes. A winter coat that actually fit. Toys. Books. A tablet for educational games. She bought herself a coat. A real one. Warm. The first new coat she'd had since before Milo was born. She quit her jobs. All 3. Her managers were shocked. She didn't tell them why. Just smiled and walked out. For the first time in 6 years, she slept. Really slept. 8 hours. 9. 10. Her body didn't know what to do with actual rest. On Thursday, a week after the alley, she pulled out Dante's card. She stared at it for an hour. Then she called. He answered on the second ring. Vera. Just her name. But the way he said it made her stomach flip. Hi. Is the dinner offer still open? Absolutely. Tomorrow night? I'd need a babysitter for Milo. I'll arrange it. I know someone excellent. Very trustworthy. She'll come to you. I don't have anything to wear to a fancy restaurant. I'll send something. What size? This was too much. But she told him anyway. 7 o'clock tomorrow. I'll pick you up. Okay. Vera. Yeah. I'm glad you called. She hung up and immediately panicked. What was she doing? This man was dangerous. He'd been shot. He told her no police. He lived in a mansion and paid debts with $50,000 checks. But he'd also been kind. Genuinely kind. And God help her, she wanted to know more. The next day, a package arrived. Inside was a dress. Midnight blue. Simple but elegant. The kind of dress she'd never owned. It fit perfectly. The babysitter arrived at 6:30. An older woman, warm smile, brought toys and books. Milo loved her immediately. At exactly 7, a knock at the door. Vera opened it. Dante stood there in a dark suit, no tie, looking like sin personified. His eyes swept over her in the blue dress, and something heated in their gray depths. You're stunning, he said simply. She flushed. You're not so bad yourself. He smiled. Actually smiled. It transformed his face from dangerous to devastating. Shall we? The SUV was waiting. He opened the door for her. Gentleman and criminal in one package. They drove to a restaurant she'd only ever seen from the outside. The kind where you needed reservations months in advance. The kind where a single meal cost more than her old weekly paycheck. Inside, they were led to a private room. Just them. A single table. Candles. A view of the city lights. This is too much, she said. This is dinner. He pulled out her chair. Sat across from her. Tell me about Milo. So she did. About his laugh. His curiosity. How smart he was. How he wanted to be an astronaut one day. How he made her life worth living even when it was hard. Dante listened like every word mattered. Asked questions. Really listened to the answers. His father. Dante asked carefully. Gone before Milo was born. He didn't want the responsibility. His loss. That's what I tell myself. The food came. Course after course. Things she'd never tasted. Dante watched her experience each one, that small smile playing at his lips. What? She asked. You. Enjoying this. It's nice to see. I feel like Cinderella. Like midnight is going to hit and all this disappears. It won't. I promise you. Why are you doing this? Really? He set down his fork. Met her eyes. You want the truth? Always. In my world, people want things from me. Power. Money. Protection. They're kind because they're afraid or because they want something. You were kind in an alley when I was nothing but a bleeding stranger. You asked for nothing. Expected nothing. That's rare. You're rare. I'm really not. I'm just extraordinary, he finished. You just don't see it yet. Her heart kicked against her ribs. Dante, I need to understand something. That night, the gunshot. What? Are you asking what I do? Yes. He leaned back. Studied her. I run businesses. Some legitimate. Some less so. I have enemies. People who would rather I didn't exist. That's who shot me. You're talking about the Mafia. I'm talking about family business. Old world rules in a new world. That's dangerous. Very. And you're telling me because? Because you deserve honesty. Because if we do this, if we continue seeing each other, you need to know what you're getting into. I can protect you. I will protect you and Milo. But my world is dark. There are risks. She should run. Every logical brain cell screamed at her to run. But when she looked at him, she didn't see a monster. She saw a man who'd clawed his way out of poverty. Who remembered what it was like to be hungry. Who'd shown her more respect in 2 weeks than most men did in months. I want to keep seeing you, she said. His eyes flashed. You're sure? No. But I want to try. He reached across the table, took her hand. His palm was warm, calloused, strong. Then we'll try. The next 2 months were a dream. Dante took her to dinner twice a week. Sent flowers. Called to hear about her day. Sent toys for Milo even though they'd never met. He told her about his businesses. The legitimate ones, real estate, restaurants, import-export. The less legitimate ones, gambling, protection, things she didn't ask too many questions about. She told him about her life. Her dreams of being a nurse. Her fears for Milo. Her hope that maybe, just maybe, things could be better. He kissed her for the first time on their 8th date. In his car after dinner. Gentle at first. Then deeper. Desperate. Like he'd been holding back for weeks. She melted into him. Let herself feel wanted for the first time in years. When they pulled apart, his forehead rested against hers. I'm falling for you, Vera. That's dangerous. I've lived my whole life dangerous. This is the best kind. On Christmas Eve, he showed up at her door with presents. Mountains of them. For Milo, a bike, games, books, clothes. For her, a new laptop for school applications, a nursing textbook, a necklace with a small diamond pendant. Dante, this is too much. It's not enough. It'll never be enough. Milo loved him instantly. They built the bike together while Vera cooked dinner. She watched them through the kitchen doorway. Dante, patient and kind, teaching Milo how to tighten bolts. Milo, chattering excitedly about space and school and everything. Her heart cracked open. She was in love with him. Completely. Terrifyingly. After Milo went to bed, Dante found her on the couch. Thank you, she said. For all of this. For making his Christmas magical. I like him. He's smart. Funny. Looks like his mother. She laughed. He looks like his deadbeat father, actually. Then his father was pretty because Milo is a handsome kid. But his personality? That's all you. He pulled her close. She curled into him, breathing him in. Expensive cologne and something darker. Gunpowder, maybe. Danger. I need to tell you something, he said. Her stomach dropped. What? I'm going to New York next week. Business. It might be dangerous. How dangerous? Enough that I need to tell you. If something happens, don't. She sat up. Don't say that. Vera. I just found you. I can't, her voice broke. He cupped her face. Nothing will happen. I'm too mean to die. But you need to know. You and Milo. If anything did happen, Mateo has instructions. You're taken care of. College fund for Milo. Money for you to finish nursing school. Everything. I don't want your money. I want you. You have me. All of me. I just need you to understand. She kissed him. Hard. Desperate. Poured every feeling into it. Love and fear and need. He responded instantly. Pulled her onto his lap. Hands in her hair. Mouth hot and hungry. Stay, she whispered against his lips. Tonight. Stay with me. Vera, if I stay. I know. Stay anyway. He did. They moved to her bedroom. He undressed her slowly. Reverently. Kissed every inch of exposed skin. Told her she was beautiful until she believed it. They made love slowly. Carefully, because of his healing gunshot wound. But thoroughly. Desperately. Like they were memorizing each other. After, wrapped in her cheap sheets, he held her close. I love you, he said into her hair. I didn't plan to. Didn't want to. But I do. I love you too. So much it scares me. Good. Fear keeps you sharp. She laughed. Traced the scar on his side. The one she'd helped give him by keeping him alive. Come back to me. From New York. Please. Always. I'll always come back to you. He left for New York on New Year's Day. Vera tried not to think about what business meant. Tried not to imagine bullets or worse. He called every night. Heard about Milo's day. Her nursing school applications. The small things that made up her life. On the 5th night, he didn't call. Vera stared at her phone. Waited. Nothing. On the 6th night, still nothing. Panic set in. She called Mateo. He didn't answer. On the 7th day, a different black SUV pulled up outside her building. Not Dante's. Someone else's. Her blood turned to ice. Two men got out, approached her door, knocked. She opened it with her phone in hand, 911 ready to dial. Vera Castellano? Yes. We're from the Luciano family. Our boss wants to speak with you. About Dante Morelli. Oh God. Is he? He's alive. But there's been a complication. You need to come with us. Every instinct screamed no. But if Dante was in trouble, let me get my son to a sitter. She called Mrs. Chin. Dropped Milo off. Got in the SUV. They drove to a warehouse on the south side. Industrial. Empty. The kind of place where bad things happened. Inside, a man sat in a leather chair. Older. 50s maybe. Expensive suit. Dead eyes. Miss Castellano. I'm Victor Luciano. She knew that name. One of the big five families. Dante had mentioned them. Enemies. Where's Dante? We have him. Alive. For now. Victor smiled. No warmth in it. He came to New York to negotiate territory. We disagreed. Things got violent. Let him go. I will. For a price. Her stomach dropped. What price? You. He's been telling people he's in love. That you're special. I want to see if that's true. I don't understand. Victor stood. Walked closer. It's simple. You stay here. Collateral. If Dante wants you back, he gives me 3 of his businesses. Prime territory. Worth about 20 million. You're using me as ransom. Leverage. Cleaner word. And if he doesn't pay? Then he doesn't love you as much as he claims. And I'll return you. Eventually. The threat was clear. What if I refuse to stay? Then Dante dies tonight. Slowly. Painfully. And we'll still come for you after. This way, at least he has a chance. She was trapped. Completely trapped. I'll stay. Victor smiled. Smart girl. Don't worry. We'll keep you comfortable. As long as Dante cooperates. They put her in a room. Small. Concrete floors. A cot. Toilet in the corner. A single window too high to reach. She was a prisoner. Hours passed. Then days. They brought food. Let her use a bathroom. Didn't hurt her. But the message was clear. She was property. A bargaining chip. On the 3rd day, Victor visited. Interesting news. Dante refuses to negotiate. Says he doesn't negotiate with kidnappers. Her heart stopped. What? He sent a message. Says if I touch you, he'll burn my entire organization to the ground. And that he's coming for you himself. That's suicide. You'll kill him. Probably. But I admire the commitment. Victor left. Vera paced the cell. Dante was going to get himself killed trying to save her. She had to do something. The guard outside her door changed every 6 hours. At night, it was a younger guy. Cocky. Paid less attention. She waited until 3 a.m. Called out. I need the bathroom. Women problems. It's an emergency. The guard grumbled but opened the door. Make it quick. She walked to the bathroom at the end of the hall. The window was small but not too small. She'd noticed it earlier. Inside, she locked the door. Climbed onto the sink. Forced the window open. It screamed in protest but gave. She squeezed through. Barely fit. Dropped 10 feet to the alley below. Rolled. Pain shot through her ankle, but she ran anyway. She didn't know where she was. Didn't care. She ran until she found a main street. Flagged down a cab. Take me to. She rattled off Dante's address. The driver took one look at her, dirty, bleeding, desperate, and floored it. At Dante's mansion, she pounded on the door. Matteo answered. His eyes went wide. Vera. Where is he? Where's Dante? Preparing. He's going after you tonight. They're waiting for him. It's a trap. He can't go. Matteo pulled her inside. Dante appeared from a back room, strapping on a gun holster. When he saw her, he froze. Vera. She launched herself at him. He caught her. Held her so tight she couldn't breathe. How did you? I escaped. Dante, it's a trap. They know you're coming. I don't care. I wasn't leaving you there. You would have died. Better than living without you. She pulled back. Looked at him. Really looked. Exhausted. Desperate. determined. I love you, she said. But you can't sacrifice everything for me. Watch me. Dante. He kissed her. Hard. Claiming, you're mine. I don't leave what's mine behind. They wanted 20 million in territory. They can have it. I'll rebuild. But I can't rebuild without you. Matteo cleared his throat. Boss, Luciano's people will be here soon. They'll know she escaped. Then we disappear. Tonight. All of us. Where? Vera asked. Anywhere. Everywhere. I have properties. Overseas. We take Milo and go. Start over. You'd give up everything? Your empire. It's not an empire without you. It's just business. She wanted to argue. Wanted to tell him it was too much. But she looked into his eyes and saw the truth. He meant it. Every word. Okay, she said. Let's go. They moved fast. Matteo arranged everything. Private plane. New identities. Money transfers to untraceable accounts. They picked up Milo at Mrs. Chen's. Vera hugged the older woman goodbye. Thank you. For everything. Take care of your family, Mrs. Chen said. Like she knew. Maybe she did. At the airport, a private jet waited. Dante had pulled strings. The kind of strings that made problems disappear. Where are we going? Milo asked, excited, clueless. Adventure, Dante said. How do you feel about Italy? Milo's eyes went huge. Really? Really? They flew overnight. Vera sat next to Dante, Milo asleep across their laps. His hand found hers. Squeezed. I can't believe you gave up everything, she whispered. I gave up nothing. I gained everything. But your businesses. Your life here. My life is you. You and Milo. The rest is just noise. She leaned into him. Let herself believe it. Let herself have this. They landed in Rome as the sun rose. Golden light over ancient stones. A new beginning. Dante had a villa in Tuscany. Sprawling. Beautiful. Safe. They settled in. Slowly. Carefully. Vera enrolled in nursing school. Italian nursing school, which meant learning Italian, which Dante taught her in bed and at breakfast and while cooking dinner. Milo started at an international school. Made friends. Learned Italian faster than both of them. Dante ran his businesses remotely. The legitimate ones. He'd walked away from the dangerous parts. Left them to Matteo. Chose different. Months passed. Then a year. On a warm evening in June, Dante found Vera in the garden. She was studying, surrounded by medical textbooks and notes. He knelt beside her. Pulled out a small box. Her breath caught. I did this backward, he said. Fell in love. Stole you away. Started a life. But I want to do this right. He opened the box. A ring. Simple. Elegant. Perfect. Vera Castellano. You saved my life in an alley. You saved my soul in every moment since. Will you marry me? She was crying. Happy tears. Yes. God, yes. He slipped the ring on her finger. Kissed her until they were both breathless. Milo came running out. Saw the ring. Screamed. Does this mean Dante is my dad now? Dante looked at her. She nodded. He turned to Milo. If you want me to be. Milo tackled him. They rolled in the grass, laughing. Vera watched her family. Her impossible, beautiful family. She'd been drowning in bills and exhaustion. Had saved a bleeding stranger because it was the right thing to do. And that stranger had saved her back. 10-fold. 100-fold. She'd found love in the last place she expected. With the last person she should have fallen for. But some of the best things in life are unexpected. Dangerous. Worth the risk. They married in September. Small ceremony. Just them and a few friends. Milo was the ring bearer. Cried happy tears when they said I do. Vera finished nursing school. Started working at a children's hospital in Florence. Dante cut business ties with anything questionable. Invested in legal ventures. Restaurants. Real estate. Things that wouldn't get him shot. Victor Luciano tried to come after them once. Sent men to Italy. They never made it to the villa. Dante still had connections. Still had protection. But now he used it to defend, not attack. On their second anniversary, Vera found out she was pregnant. A little girl. They named her Sophia. Milo was 8 now. Brilliant. Kind. Wanted to be a doctor like his mom. Called Dante Papa without hesitation. One night, after the kids were asleep, Dante and Vera sat on their terrace overlooking the Tuscan hills. "Do you ever regret it?" she asked. "Giving up your empire?" He pulled her close. "I didn't give up anything that mattered. I traded power for peace. Control for love. It wasn't even a choice. I never imagined my life could be like this. Neither did I. I thought I'd die young. Violently. Alone. Then you pressed your coat to a bullet wound and everything changed." She laughed. "Worst coat I ever owned. Best decision you ever made. Second best. Best was saying yes to dinner. No. Best was calling me after that week. You could have taken the money and run. Never seen me again. I wanted to see you again. Even though it was terrifying." "Still terrified?" She looked at him. The man who'd started as a dangerous stranger and become her everything. "Not anymore. Not with you." He kissed her. Soft. Sweet. Full of promise. They sat in comfortable silence, watching stars appear over the hills. A single mother and a former Mafia boss. The most unlikely love story. The most beautiful one. Because sometimes salvation comes from unexpected places. Sometimes the person who saves you is someone you save first. Sometimes drowning in an alley leads to swimming in Tuscan sunlight. Sometimes $43 and a coat turns into $50,000 and a future. Sometimes the best thing you can do is help the bleeding stranger. Because you never know who they'll become to you. Who you'll become because of them. Vera had been drowning. Dante had been bleeding. They'd saved each other. And isn't that what love is? Mutual salvation. Shared strength. Choosing each other every single day despite the odds. 3 years later, Milo graduated top of his class. Dante cried during the ceremony. Vera pretended not to notice. Sophia took her first steps in the garden where Dante proposed. They bought a restaurant in Florence. Named it Vera's. She didn't cook, but she designed the menu around what she'd wished she could afford during those hungry years. Good food. Fair prices. No one turned away for lack of money. Dante ran it like a business, but funded it like a charity. It broke even most months. Made a small profit some months. He didn't care. It mattered to Vera, so it mattered to him. On the 5-year anniversary of the night in the alley, they went back to Chicago. Just for a visit. Checked on the old apartment building. It had been renovated. Rent had tripled. The families she'd known were displaced. It broke her heart. Reminded her how easily that could still be her. "I want to do something," she told Dante. "For people like I was. Single parents. Working multiple jobs. Drowning. Tell me what you need." She thought about it. Really thought. A foundation. Rent assistance. Job training. Childcare subsidies. Education funds. The things that would have changed everything for me. Done. "Dante, that's the best use of money I've ever heard. Let's do it. The Castellano Foundation. Your name. Your vision." They launched it 6 months later. Started in Chicago. Spread to other cities. Helped thousands of families. Vera personally reviewed applications. Saw herself in every desperate single parent. Every tired face. Every plea for help. She helped them all. As much as she could. Because someone had helped her. Because Dante had turned a coat pressed to a wound into a completely different life. On their 10th anniversary, Milo was 13. Sophia was 7. They had a son now too, Marco, 3 years old. The villa was loud and chaotic and full of love. Dante found Vera in their bedroom, getting ready for their anniversary dinner. "You look beautiful," he said. She wore the same blue dress from their first date. It still fit. Barely. "I'm older now. More wrinkles. More stretch marks. More beautiful. Every year. Every day." He meant it. She could see it in his eyes. "Do you ever think about that night?" she asked. "The alley. Every day." "Me too. I think about walking away. How easy it would have been. How close I came. But you didn't." "But I didn't." "Why? Really? You've never told me why you stopped." She thought about it. Remembered that moment. The blood. The cold. The exhaustion. The thousand reasons to keep walking. I stopped because I could not stop. Because even when I had nothing, I still had the choice to help. That was mine. The only thing poverty couldn't take. And I refused to let it take that too. Dante pulled her close. You're the strongest person I've ever met. I'm really not. I was terrified that whole time. Every single day. Strength isn't the absence of fear. It's moving forward despite it. She kissed him. Long, deep. 10 years, and it still felt like the first time. They went to dinner. An expensive restaurant. The kind she'd once cleaned. As they ate, she watched him across the table. Gray eyes. Smile lines. Silver threading through his dark hair. Still dangerous. Still kind. Still hers. What are you thinking? He asked. That I'd do it again. All of it. The poverty. The fear. The exhaustion. If it meant ending up here. With you. You shouldn't have had to suffer to find love. Maybe. But I did suffer. And I did find love. And maybe that makes it more precious. Because I know what it's like without it. He reached across the table. Took her hand. Squeezed. I love you, Vera Morelli. I love you, Dante Morelli. 10 years. 3 kids. A foundation. A restaurant. A life built from $43 and a stranger's blood. Not bad for a single mom who'd been drowning in bills. Not bad at all. The night ended with them on their terrace again. Their spot. Where he'd proposed. Where they made decisions. Where they just existed together. Dante pulled her into his arms. They swayed to music only they could hear. Thank you, he said into her hair. For what? For stopping. For helping. For saving me. You saved me right back. We saved each other. And that was the truth of it. The real story. Not a billionaire rescuing a poor woman. Not a damsel in distress. But 2 people drowning in different ways, choosing to grab onto each other and swim. She'd given him her coat and her kindness when she had nothing else to give. He'd given her a future when she couldn't see past Friday's rent. They'd both given each other love when love seemed impossible. The best investments don't come with dollar signs. They come with late-night conversations and shared dreams and choosing each other every single day. They come with being brave enough to stop in an alley. Brave enough to call the number on a card. Brave enough to say yes to dinner even when it's terrifying. Brave enough to say I love you. Brave enough to stay. Brave enough to build something beautiful from something broken. Vera had been broken. Dante had been bleeding. Together, they'd healed. And their story, the single mom and the mafia boss, the coat and the bullet wound, the $43 and the $50,000, became the kind of story people tell. The kind that makes you believe in second chances. In unlikely love. In the idea that sometimes the worst day of your life is the doorway to the best ones. They stood on that terrace until the stars came out. Until the wine was gone and the night was deep. Then they went inside to their children. Their home. Their life. And Vera thought, not for the first time, that she'd stopped in that alley not just to save a stranger's life, but to save her own. Sometimes salvation wears an expensive suit and speaks with an Italian accent. Sometimes it comes with danger and complications and a past that doesn't let go easily. But sometimes it also comes with fierce love and protection and a future brighter than you'd ever dared to imagine. And sometimes, just sometimes, when you're drowning and exhausted and down to your last $43, the best thing you can do is stop. Help the bleeding stranger. Press your coat to his wound. And let the universe reward your kindness tenfold. Because the universe is paying attention. It sees the single moms working 3 jobs. It sees the kindness given when there's nothing left to give. It sees the moments we choose compassion over self-preservation. And sometimes, when the stars align and fate intervenes and a stranger collapses in an alley, the universe gives back. Not always. Not for everyone. But sometimes. And for Vera Castellano, that cold November night in a Chicago alley, it gave back in the form of Dante Morelli. And that made all the difference. Before we go, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. This story is exactly why you need to be subscribed. And seriously, drop a comment and tell me where you're watching from. I want to know where all of you beautiful people are located. United States? Canada? Brazil? Drop that location below. And if this story got you in your feelings, share it with someone who needs to hear a love story today. See you in the next one.